As we've seen, the object class is a superclass of all other classes in Java, and it's part of the java.lang package. So subclasses of the object class typically override the equals and toString methods with class-specific implementations. So given that rectangle ultimately inherits the object class through this hierarchy, then we can override the equals method as follows. So the equals method in the object class has a Boolean return type, and it takes in an object, which we'll call other. So the first condition we check is if this object is equal to other, which returns true. And at this stage, we'll return false otherwise. So if we check if the object at index 1 in this array list is equal to itself, then the objects are equal. Now if we want to check if the object at index 1 is equal to the object at index 2, then that's going to be false. But we want a class-specific implementation that checks the length and height of the rectangle, and if they're the same between both rectangles, then the equals method should return true. So we'll extend this method to first check if the object is an instance of rectangle, and we put a not here, meaning that if this object is not an instance of the rectangle class, then we return false. Otherwise, we declare a reference to the rectangle object. So effectively we cast this object that's passed in to a rectangle type. And now we can do another check if this object's length is equal to the length of the rectangle object that was passed in, and if the height of this object is equal to the height of the rectangle that was passed in, then we return true. Otherwise, we ultimately return false, given that this object and the object that's passed in are not equal. So now let's test this. So if we check this object at index 1 with the object at index 2, we expect a true result to be returned. So if we change the length of this rectangle, then we get a false result. And if we compare a triangle with a rectangle, even though the instance variables have the same values, then we still get a false result, because a triangle is not an instance of a rectangle. Now another method we can override is the toString method of the object superclass. And what we'll do is just return true for now. But before we do that, let's just comment it out. And we'll just print our object. So we have a system.out.print line and our rectangle object at index 1. So that just prints this string, which is not quite useful. So overriding the toString method of the object superclass, we'll return this is a rectangle with a length. So that would be this dot length. And then we have and a height plus this dot get height. So if we run this program again, that's what gets printed to the screen. As our rectangle has a length of 5 and a height of 10. So if we print the object at index 2, the rectangle has a length of 10 and a height of 10 as expected. And the equals and toString methods of the object class are part of the Java quick reference.